Nityanandam, everyone, divine beings. It is Brahma Murti time, and we are, or it might be a little after now. Maybe a little after. No, I think it's still Brahma Murti time. It's a little after. We are here for our flower of today, and this flower that I'm going to share with you started with a seed planted by my guru, His Divine Holiness, Paramahamsa Nityananda, that has blossomed into a beautiful bouquet in my inner space. Tons and tons and fields of flowers. And I'm just plucking one of those flowers every day and sharing it with you. Let it be the flower that you love the most so that you'll inhale it and share it with the other beings of the world. So here's the flower for today. And I think I have figured out a way to hold this and hold my camera. So we shall see. So the flower for today, divine beings, is again coming straight from my inner space to you. Be not fearful. Messages from my guru to me that I'm sharing with you. Be not fearful of your fears. They are fake and irrelevant because Swamiji Paramashiva does not listen to fears. He only listens to your will. Will is the only language of the universe. Will is the only language Swamiji hears and responds to. So will, baby, will and only will. Renounce everything else and will only. So let's delve into this. So first is, be not fearful of your fears. Wow. So first of all, fears are not real. They have no bearing at all on your life. And what happens is, not only do we give credence to the fear, we also create a fear about being fearful. And it just is a recipe for polluting your will with fear. So the thing to realize is that fears are fake. They have no relevance in the creation of your life unless you give them time and energy, and you feed them and you nourish them and you turn them into your will. So fears only become relevant to God, who is manifesting your life, who is your co-creator, if you make them your will, because the next sentence says, Paramashiva, Swamiji, Paramashiva, God does not listen to fears. He only listens to your will, right? So, you know how in life we say, what's your love language? What's your love language? What's his love language? What's her love language? Swamiji Paramashiva's only love language is your will. Everything else is just white noise to him. He doesn't hear that. But when you give it your time and energy and attention, and it becomes your will, your visualization, your verbalization, and your vocalization, and therefore your materialization, he listens, because he's like, oh, well, she's giving it her time and energy, so that must be her will. Okay, well, let's do that, right? So fear is fake, But I will say this, fear presents itself as if it is as real as the sun. It is loud and proud and egoistic and persistent. But when you get to know what it is, what you do is you look at it, you say, you face it. So fear is there. It's not going anywhere. It can actually be a motivator, but it's what you do with it when it appears. When it appears and it has no value for you, no positive value for you, you just look at it and say, oh, I see what you are, fear. You're not real. Okay, I'm going to go back to my will. My will is blah, 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 blah. Right? Whatever your will is, say it to the fear. The language of the universe is the will. So that goes back to what the love language of the universe is your will. And it's the only language that Swamiji Paramashiva hears and responds to. So, will, baby, will, and only will. All right? Because it is the only thing that is real. Renounce everything else. Renounce all of your fears and all of your doubts and all of your self-hatred and all of your I can'ts and what ifs. And just will and watch and wait and work. We'll talk about what work is at a later video, because work is about listening and taking inspired action, not just working physical work, but it's actually listening and taking inspired action from your from that inner voice, your inner space. So the last two words here are will only. So just go with that for the day. Will only, will only only will. All right, divine beings, that is the flower for today. Make it beautiful for you and someone else. Share it, and Nityanandam, that eternal bliss.